Hello everyone! Today we thought we'd do a video about how to look for jobs in Dublin. It's a question we've been asked a lot lately, and since for graduates it's kind of getting to the point where I probably should start looking for a job. How do I do that? We thought it's a good time of year to do a video about our experience of finding jobs in Dublin or Ireland in general, and what sites we used to find those jobs.
So all this information that we're sharing today, we also have a blog post with all the sites and methods that we used. So if you missed anything or we didn't explain it, check the blog post for you to have edited anything that we missed in there.
So one of the first sites we found when we started looking for job sites in Ireland was Julia.ie. But we didn't find that many interesting jobs to us there. We realized it's more geared towards skilled workers and students or people looking for part-time work, or at least that's the jobs that are being put on there a lot. So if you're maybe a student looking for a site job that you can do part-time on a certain amount of hours, that can be a good place to start. Or if you've worked in a sort of a waitress position before or something and you want that to have that as a job here as well, or just for a certain time, there's a lot of temporary work as well in those sectors.
So some of the more popular job sites that you hear about are jobs.ie and irishjobs.ie. This will be most popular for the more experienced jobs. This is one of the sites we've used a lot. It has your usual job categories, so IT, marketing, something like that. And one of the big benefits of it is that it has a companies page. So some of the bigger companies, say like your Googles and Facebooks and Microsofts, you can also follow them to get alerts whenever they have job openings that would fit your skill set.
What might also be worth doing is, if you're interested in all the big tech companies, for example, that are here in Dublin, Google, Facebook, whichever one, is to go to the careers page directly and set up an alert, because they have often so many positions open they won't bother putting all of them, especially more specialized ones, on these job sites. So that could be a good way to get an entry into those companies if that's something you're interested in. Another more bit advanced technique is there is also a job site called I don't know how to pronounce it.
We'll put it right here. We don't know how to pronounce it.
It's on the blog. Just click on the link. Nuvo.ie. It's basically a search engine for job sites, so it searches across all kinds of job sites at the same time. Of course, you get a lot of results, so what worked well for us was that we knew what kind of job titles we'd be interested in. So I'd just type in digital marketing specialist, for example, and check the results for the last 24 hours and do that every day in the morning to be able to handle the amount of responses you'll get once you type something in. So that only really works once you know what a realistic job title for the role you're looking for is like. I believe the same goes for LinkedIn. There isn't that many companies putting their jobs on LinkedIn, but it's still a good idea if you know what you're looking for, because if you type in marketing, you're gonna get 200 results that are actually for sales rather than marketing, and it can be really hard to find a job that's really interesting for you.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about LinkedIn is that, yeah, she's right depending on the category, but say you're like me and search for IT, it can be very well done and specific. So that's just one thing to have in mind. Depending on what your career path is, some of these sites may actually work better than others.
That's a very good point. With LinkedIn as well, what you can do is you can open up your profile to be found by recruiters. So for certain type of jobs, it might be actually interesting for you to contact recruiters directly. So IT jobs, if you have a certain language that's being asked for much, especially with sales roles, and that's something you're interested in doing, it could be definitely worth contacting some recruiters and let them do the work for you and find jobs that are interesting to your profile. I actually found my first job on irishjobs.ie. It was a not exactly entry-level position. It did require some experience, but not too much. So it was just one interview with the HR person and a phone call, as well as a little assessment test that I could do from Osteria, and then I pretty much had the job. So that was a relatively smooth process, and I think it's for a lot of jobs that are advertised on those platforms. If it's a specialized position, they know that usually they would be looking maybe even for expats if they can't find people with those skills in Dublin right now. So they are willing to make compromises if you want to do the interview from your home country, because it's not that easy to just simply travel into Dublin for a quick interview. My second job I actually found on LinkedIn. I think I simply typed in digital marketing specialist or something like that, or just browsed through the marketing categories what was put up that day or the day before, and I applied, and here I am today working still for the company and enjoying it very much.
So my first job here in Dublin, I was looking for it using LinkedIn. I had LinkedIn Premium at the time, so I was quite visible to most people on the platform. What happened after that is that I was contacted by a recruiter who was looking for people with the same skill set that I was. It was a very, very pleasant exchange. I was lucky to have a recruiter that was able to listen to my skill set, the jobs, what I'm looking for, and fit me into a company. It was pretty easy process. What I did was kind of told the story of what I would like to do while working, where I like to work, and then we were able to match me up with a couple companies to have some interviews, and obviously one of them was successful, and here we are today. Sorry, Dara.
What are your thoughts on job year?
You kind of did it already.